The energy was electric. Fans packed the arena, phones up, chanting Kendrick's name like it was the moment they'd been waiting for all year. The beat dropped, lights flashed, and the crowd lost their minds. But halfway through the track, something shifted. Kendrick froze. His eyes narrowed, scanning the crowd, then locking on someone backstage. In the next instant, whispers started buzzing across the floor. Drake had just slipped a hidden diss into a live broadcast playing in the venue. The room's atmosphere snapped from pure hype to tense confusion. Gasps echoed, cameras zoomed in, and Kendrick's mic lowered slowly. For a moment, it felt like the entire world held its breath. And then, without warning, he turned, stormed off stage, leaving the audience stunned and desperate to know what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, but it's all caught on camera. The night was already historic before it even began. This wasn't just another concert. This was Kendrick Lamar's long-awaited return to the stage after months of silence. Fans had camped outside the venue since sunrise, clutching posters, vinyl records, and their phones ready to record every second. Social media had been buzzing for days about the rumored, surprise moment Kendrick had promised for tonight. No one knew exactly what it was, but the theories were endless. A new track, a special guest, maybe even a Drake feature. Inside, the arena pulsed with anticipation. The lights dimmed, the giant LED screen behind the stage flickered, and the bass rolled through the air like distant thunder. The first wave of screams hit the rafters as Kendrick appeared, hood up, walking slowly toward the mic. No fireworks, no pyrotechnics, just him. Pure focus. "Y'all ready?" he asked, his voice low but slicing through the roar. The crowd responded like they'd been waiting their whole lives for this moment. The first few songs went flawlessly. Kendrick's delivery was razor-sharp, every bar landing with precision. Fans rapped along word for word, their voices blending with his. The vibe was perfect, the kind of concert energy that makes you forget everything else in your life. Then it happened. During the fourth track, a song everyone knew by heart, the music began to fade ever so slightly, just enough for a faint beat to bleed in from somewhere else. It wasn't part of Kendrick's setlist. At first, people thought it was a DJ transition or some kind of glitch. But then a voice came through the speakers. It was unmistakable. The words weren't clear at first, just a few lines slipping in under the bass, but enough to make a few people in the front row turn to each other with wide eyes. Then the lyrics became sharper, cutting through the air like a blade. "Funny how some kings need crowns to remind they royal." The crowd reacted instantly, some gasping, some shouting. Others laughed nervously, unsure if this was part of the show or if they were witnessing something unplanned. The DJ didn't flinch, but Kendrick froze mid-verse. His head tilted slightly, his eyes narrowing, and his flow cut short like someone had hit a switch. The beat for his track kept rolling, but he wasn't rapping anymore. He was listening. Really listening. Drake's voice grew clearer, the hidden track weaving through the speakers like a snake in the grass. Real poets don't need ghosts to write history. The crowd's noise swelled, a mix of shock and excitement. Some pulled out their phones, zooming in on Kendrick's face, hoping to catch every micro-expression. And they got it. The jaw tightening, the slow inhale, the way his hand gripped the mic just a little too hard. The room felt different now. The energy had shifted from celebratory to tense, the kind of tension that makes people lean forward, hungry for the next move. Kendrick glanced toward the side of the stage, where his team stood frozen. His DJ was scanning his equipment, clearly realizing that this wasn't coming from him. The hidden audio was being fed through another source. Someone had spliced it into the live mix. And the worst part? It was still going. All that Pulitzer talk, but your verses feel staged. A few fans booed. Others screamed Drake's name. A small pocket of the audience started chanting, "Kendrick! Kendrick!" trying to pull him back into the performance. But he just stood there, shoulders rising and falling with each breath, as if weighing every possible reaction in his head. Should he laugh it off? Should he fire back on the spot? Or should he walk away, refusing to play into the trap? The beat for his original track finally faded out. Silence. Then only Drake's voice filled the arena. Guess some legends can't handle the truth. The moment hung in the air like static before a lightning strike. Then Kendrick stepped back from the mic, still staring into the crowd, his expression unreadable. Nobody knew it yet, but the next 10 seconds would be replayed millions of times online before the night was over. And that's when the storm began to form. The energy in the arena was electric. Kendrick had just wrapped up a flawless performance of Money Trees, and the crowd was roaring in unison. People were dancing, phones were flashing, and the bass was rattling the floor. But then, without warning, the beat began to fade. The massive LED screens behind him flickered, static lines crackling across the visuals. The crowd quieted, confused but curious. A deep, thunderous rumble rolled through the speakers. Then, cutting through the silence like a knife, came Drake's unmistakable voice, calm, cold, and dripping with venom. It wasn't a track anyone recognized. The crowd quickly realized this was something new. Every lyric seemed deliberately crafted to target Kendrick, mocking his style, questioning his legacy, even dropping personal details that made fans exchange wide-eyed looks. Gasps rippled through the arena. Up in the VIP section, cameras zoomed in on a shadowy figure in a black hoodie, face half hidden, sitting completely still. Chants of "Drake, Drake?" erupted. Kendrick froze mid-stage, gripping the mic tight but not saying a word. His jaw clenched, his gaze swept over the sea of faces, and for a tense few seconds, it looked like he might fire back then and there. But instead, he stepped back, muttered something under his breath, and the band stopped playing entirely. The tension was unbearable. Something big was about to happen. The silence inside the arena was unlike anything fans had ever experienced at a hip-hop concert. No beats, no background music, just thousands of people holding their breath, waiting for Kendrick's next move. His chest rose and fell slowly, the stage lights casting a sharp outline of his figure against the smoke-filled air. From the speakers, Drake's voice continued, cutting deeper with every line. "You preach about kings, but you're still just a pawn." The crowd reacted instantly. Some booed, others laughed nervously, and a few shouted, "Respond," as if they could command history to happen right there. Kendrick finally raised the mic, his voice low but steady. "Y'all hear that?" he said, scanning the audience. "He think this is a game?" The crowd erupted, sensing the heat building. Then, he did something no one saw coming. Kendrick set the mic down, stepped away from the spotlight, and started walking toward the backstage exit. No music. No goodbye. Fans near the barricade reached out, desperate to touch him, but he didn't break stride. The security team scrambled, unsure if this was planned or real. Backstage, cameras caught him throwing off his in-ear monitors and muttering to his crew, "We're done here." On the jumbotrons, the image froze on Kendrick disappearing into the shadows, while Drake's disc kept playing over the stadium speakers like a victory lap. The internet wouldn't sleep tonight. Backstage was pure chaos. Crew members, dancers, and security scrambled like someone had just pulled the fire alarm. Kendrick's usually calm demeanor was gone. His jaw clenched, his hands moving fast as he ripped off his stage jacket and tossed it onto a chair. "Cut the feed! Cut the music!" he barked at a sound tech, his voice sharper than anyone had ever heard. But the tech shook his head. "It's live, Kata." Drake's team patched it straight through the venue system. "We can't kill it without cutting the whole power." Kendrick froze. That meant every second of that diss was still echoing through the arena, searing itself into the crowd's memory. A tour manager rushed over, phone in hand. "Bro, it's already trending. Hashtag Kendrick Walkout is at 1.2 million tweets. Drake's clip is everywhere." Kendrick's eyes darkened. "That's exactly what he wanted," he muttered. "He knew I wouldn't bite. He wanted me to walk." Meanwhile, just down the hall, a cameraman, probably paid off by someone, was filming every moment, pretending to adjust equipment. His footage caught Kendrick pacing like a caged lion, whispering to his right-hand man, "I'm not letting this slide. Next city, we're flipping the script." The door suddenly swung open. A young assistant, pale-faced, held up her phone to Kendrick. On the screen, Drake was live on Instagram, smirking, sipping champagne, and saying, "Guess some people can't handle the truth." Kendrick stared at the screen for a long moment. His crew knew that look. It meant war. The sound of the crowd still roaring from the arena leaked in through the walls. Kendrick straightened up, took a deep breath, and said one thing. "Tell the band. We're going back out." The room froze. Nobody knew if he was going to perform or confront Drake in real time. The arena was still buzzing, but the energy had shifted. It was no longer excitement, it was anticipation. Everyone could feel something was about to happen. The lights dimmed again. The massive LED screen flickered on, showing nothing but a black background with a single white word pulsing in time with the bass. "Back." The crowd screamed as Kendrick stepped into the spotlight. No jacket, no backup dancers, just him, a mic, and an expression that could cut glass. He didn't say a word at first. He just stood there, staring into the crowd as the beat from the exact same song he had walked out on began playing again. But this time, he wasn't rapping the original lyrics. He had rewritten them. Every bar was a razor, slicing straight at Drake, clever jabs hidden in metaphors, lines that would fly over casual fans' heads but hit like a freight train to anyone who knew their history. The crowd's reaction was insane, half screaming in excitement, half gasping in shock. Phones shot up everywhere, live streams popped up instantly. Hashtag Kendrick Strike Back began trending within seconds. Midway through, Kendrick stopped the beat cold. Silence. Then he leaned into the mic and said, "You thought I'd let you finish? Nah, you just gave me the intro." The arena exploded. And somewhere across town, Drake was watching on a hotel TV, jaw tightening as the sound of 20,000 fans chanting Kendrick's name drowned out everything else. This wasn't over. Not even close. The second Kendrick left the stage, the internet caught fire. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, every platform was flooding with clips of the moment he stopped mid-song, the walk-off, and now, the comeback verse that felt like a lyrical nuke. Fans were split into two camps instantly. Hashtag Team Kendrick was posting slow-motion videos of the mic drop, calling it the greatest live diss of all time. Hashtag Team Drake was dissecting the lyrics, claiming Kendrick took things too far. Drake didn't wait long to respond. Within 2 hours, he went live on Instagram from what looked like a Toronto recording studio. Sitting in front of the mic, hoodie pulled over his head, he smirked at the camera. "Y'all think I'm gonna let that slide? Give me till sunrise." The chat went ballistic, hundreds of thousands of viewers spamming fire emojis and OVO versus TD comments. By morning, an unlisted YouTube link started spreading like wildfire. The thumbnail? A blurry screenshot of Kendrick mid-walk-off, with the words, "The last word." Nobody knew what was on that track yet, but everyone knew one thing. This wasn't just beef anymore. It was war. You've seen the clips. You've heard the whispers. But you haven't experienced the full truth until now. When Drake dropped that hidden diss, Kendrick Lamar's reaction wasn't just a walk-off, it was the start of something much bigger. We've broken down every lyric, every glance, and every second of the most shocking on-stage meltdown in hip-hop history. Movie camera watch the uncensored footage. Microphone hear the crowd's real reaction. Mobile phone read the unfiltered fan theories blowing up the internet. This isn't just a beef, it's a cultural earthquake. And you're either watching from the sidelines, or you're in the front row. High voltage, don't scroll past history in the making. Click play, turn the volume up, and decide for yourself. Who just ended who? Hashtag Kendrick Lamar, hashtag Drake, hashtag hip hop drama, hashtag live diss, hashtag music beef.